would it be better if the police did this instead? A shout out to Oni2 who joined us tonight from Tanzania with the Tanzania internet out there. But the brother still came through. I appreciate you if you're still out there. Um, this takes us to this link here. So let's check it out and then we'll discuss it.
So you know why I pulled you over? You were doing 90 to 30. Why?
Because I'm in the hood.
That's a good answer. But you got any guns in the car?
No, sir, I ain't got no guns
You gonna
in this
need
car.
one. I'll be right back and grab you one.
Well, that's how you serve and protect the community.
So you know why I pulled you over?
Why you pulled me over?
You were doing 90 to 30. Why?
Because I'm in the hood.
That's a good answer. I'll be speaking to this motherfucker too. But you got any guns in the car?
No, sir, I ain't got no guns
you gonna
in this
need
car.
one. I'll be right back and grab you one.
Well, that's how you serve and protect the community.
So you know why?
I like that one. That was a nice piece of humor. Would it be better if the police did this instead? What say you, real black gentlemen?
That's funny. That's funny. Oh my goodness. that was golden. That was golden. That is the mood. That's the mood right there. That's the level. That's the level. You know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness. Who did this? Is it just some random TikTok?
Yeah, well, some TikTok, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's get up though. I mean, when you look at it, when you first look at it, it looks, you know what I'm saying, like, because I mean, it kind of came in kind of glitchy. And then, you know what I'm saying, you ran it by it again. And yeah, I mean, it's like, why the police making sure that you straight? Like, no question. Like, I mean, it's like the inverse of like the idea that your protection's a zero-sum game. You know what I'm saying? If you have a gun, then it's bad, but I have to have a gun. You know what I'm saying? Well, wait. You speak. I do the same thing all the time. I mean, only you going. That's great. I mean, it is though. It's great. I mean, just the idea, like making sure, like police being like, that's like being the backup of the community. Naturally, you're supposed to be right out here in these streets. Like, yeah, that man. I'm gonna let someone else speak, man.
I appreciate the tickled pink that you were. Observing immigrants, what say you? Would it be better if the police did this instead?
Of course. I mean, at least first of all, he was understanding to the point that he knew why the guy was speeding, and secondly, he was like, "Yeah, you're still a little bit lacking, so let me get you a gun." So if only, but I don't think white cops gonna do that. Probably black cops, but I don't think white cops gonna be doing that. So hey, but it would be helpful, yeah.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Oni for this one. I appreciate it. He said, nah, but the police did stop drivers here in Tanzania, to make sure you have a fire extinguisher. So I thought funny, but it's for real. Man, enjoy yourself to the fullest out there, Oni. Let us know. Well, I'm sure you will, but let us know all the goings on. And like I told Consider yesterday on Brother Bakari's show, listen, if you guys going out here and you getting that game too, on the continent as far as what's friendly, what's hostile, where can you thrive, where you can't, bring that back and let people know. If you go there and you figure out a way how to, I'm not trying to be some kind of colonizer, don't get me wrong, but you figure out how to get some land, so that people could put down some roots out there, come back and let folks know, like I told Cassandra recently. D-Web, what say you to what you saw in this video here?
Yeah, that was pretty good skit right there. That was funny. But it's kind of also relates to this too, that other people do this type of stuff. Not to this extent. I know this understand it's a skit,
Mhm.
but it's an area I worked in called, well, I was worked close to. It's called East St. Louis, Illinois. It's right across from St. Louis. Predominantly black area. And you know, if you talk to anybody in that area, the white people in the area, they'll tell you that, you know, the police, when you come through there, they'll tell you to keep rolling. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how like dangerous that area is. So although this may be a skit, it's kind of have some roots in real life, because this areas where I've talked white people and they're like, yo, the police told you don't even stop at the stop sign. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
keep going through East Saint. You don't want to stop. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So yeah, so it's a good take on it. But like I said, it has some roots, you know, in other communities that they do actually do shit like do not stop in this area. Keep it pushing.
Do you live in St. Louis?
Nah, I'm from Chicago. I worked between
Oh.
like Chicago and St. Louis at one point, and it's areas in there that's, you know, a little rough. You feel me? But
Yeah,
yeah,
I've been to, because we live in St. Louis, but I've been to East St. Louis, and when we were looking at houses before we moved here from Virginia, we were told by the realtor not to stop.
there you
People were
go.
walking the street, but to me, they were minding their own. No, but to me, they were minding their own business. I kind of feel sometimes like white people give the impression that black people just out here ready to pounce on you. And yeah, I heard that East St. Louis has a bad reputation, but I've driven through there, and it is more hood, is more poor black people. But I don't think that, you know, I might be naive, but I don't think there's crime like that more so than anywhere else.
Well, I know people from East Saint, and it depends on what time of the day where you at. But yeah, you don't want to get caught in parts of that area.
Mm.
Because it is what it is. I know people, I know places. It's a place. I'm from Chicago. It's a place Chicago I won't even go. You know what I mean? Because you don't got to invite. It's places. That's why they took a lot of the housing projects down, because those places was fortresses. It's a couple of them. They know how to lock you in them places. You know what I mean? I've seen this firsthand. So you know, it depends on where you at. Like, yeah. So it just depends. If some places, if you ain't from there, you don't go there. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
You know what's crazy? Just a little side thing. A lot of people around America probably have a different circumstance to what me and Gas would go through. But when you go out of New York, let's say you're on the road at this hour of the night, for example, it's flashing red lights. You don't stop at a red light. If it's clear to go, you go about your business. But believe it or not, in Brownsville, in the Bronx, and Brooklyn, all that stuff, you have to stop at a red light at this hour of the night. And a lot of people, like, I was surprised to be in Maryland a couple of years ago and learned that, oh, it's a flashing red. Just drive if it's clear, you know, because in New York, they set you up to get robbed at a red light. So it's pretty interesting when you travel around America, how different it is outside of some of these bigger cities. You know what I mean?
Well, Koku, that's the interesting part about New York, and I think that's what makes New York probably the most unique. Even when you look at least from my historical analysis, like it's a good thing that this thing that they call hip hop, was created because New York had gang culture. You had the Black Spade, Savage Skulls, Savage Nomads. You had all this stuff. Can you imagine if that gang culture had taken hold, and then the drugs combined with the gang culture to have like a Chicago style? Because that's what it would have mimicked. It would have looked like what Chicago has. Uh, Gang culture in New York. We wouldn't be able to go anywhere because we're all on top of each other. But us as New Yorkers, we go, like you said, it could be 1 in the morning. As long as I'm not, I'll drive to any part anywhere, and like I'm not fearful. But like when I was in the South, I noticed that particularly black people, they'd be like, yeah, I'm in the house early. It'd be 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm not driving by certain towns, and I'm like, interesting. Whereas us as a New Yorker, and I think that's what gets us in trouble a lot of times when we go out of town because we don't understand, the lay of the land. Like we think everywhere's like New York. You just go somewhere 1 in the morning, hey, let me get a slice of pizza. It's not like that. Like, it's very segregated in certain areas in terms of who can go where and who can, enter into those places. Whereas like, like I said, I'm not just gonna wake up and go to Brooklyn for no reason. But if I had to go there right now, get in my car and go to Brooklyn. I wouldn't feel any, again, like I said, I'm not going to go into, the flatlands or East New York or Brownsville, just, ha ha ha. But I'll still go, if I had to be somewhere,
Right. But guys, would it be better if the police did this instead? What you saw in the video?
No, when I see these type of videos, I just think, like I said, I'm a third class citizen, man. I've accepted it. I don't. This is feel good, man. These are feel good psyops, in my opinion. To me, yeah. Don't get me wrong. We would love, for the police to have this type of rapport, and this is what they should have. But that's just not the case. And it's just to me things to make us get distracted from the reality that we're third class citizens. Justice Taney's decision still stands in this country. With Dred Scott. As a matter of fact, was it the 14th Amendment that so-called freed the slaves? Was it the 14th or 15th? I forgot which amendment it was. It was never ratified by Congress. It was signed into law, but according to their stuff, it has to be ratified by Congress, right? Yeah, that amendment that freed the slaves was never ratified. So, of course, they still treat us the way they treat us. So, for me, I'm not, looking for the police to have that relation. I'm really looking for the community. I mean, it's heartbreaking when you hear the brother say he's from Chicago, and there are places in Chicago he's not going to. There are parts of East St. Louis that you don't want to go to. Like, why? This is America. We all black people. Why can't I go there? Like, I saw a rap battle, and they were in St. Louis, funny enough. Guys from New York went out there, and they were battle rapping. And I was like, St. Louis, the murder capital. I've seen guys in Baltimore, murder capital. And we're bragging about death.
Right.
It's crazy when you really think about it. Like, that's not a good thing. People should brag. Yeah, you can't come to my neighborhood. Why is that a good thing? I'll never see a Chinese guy say, you can't come to my hood. Everybody goes, come to Chinatown, spend your money. You know what I'm saying? They want you in there. Spend your money and go back and leave your wallet here. It is weird.
Let me ask this quick question before we go to the last topic for tonight. Let me ask this question. A lot of times in America, especially, you hear, because of how the dynamics play out here in America, right? You hear people say, well, we need to have more black cops in black neighborhoods. Cops, black guys who live in the neighborhood, who are police, who would understand the neighborhoods better, who would have a rapport with the people, et cetera, et cetera. Let's look at that paradigm. Would you want a black cop to be like this, or do you just expect them to be the way they are, as it is right now, right? Like, would you prefer this type of thing from your police, or in fact, better yet, we always talk about nation building. When you build your nation, how do you expect your cops to be? Like gas. How are the cops in Isoko land? Like, how are the cops towards Isoko people in that?
In Nigeria? Yeah. What's funny? In Nigeria, I never really had problems with the police personally, but the cops, they get very reckless sometimes. They're underpaid a lot of times. They're stressed, so I just give them some money. They pull me over. I don't give them money right away because I don't want to offend them. But I listen. Like, okay, what's going on? Like, what can we do to make your day good? He's like, oh, okay, cool. He checks the trunk, makes sure I'm not a thief or a smuggler. All right, man. Here's $5 equivalent. Here's $4 equivalent. Buy yourself some lunch, man. I'm good. Good. All right, cool. And I keep it moving. Now I know a lot of people don't have that disposable income to just have that relationship with the police. So there are tensions at times, but I think when you look at, for example, in Brooklyn, off Flatbush by Crown Heights, they have the Jewish community. They have their own patrols, and it's a different concept. They're not there to patrol the community members. They're there to patrol non-community members.
Absolutely.
So their orientation to policing is totally different. And so I think, again, I always look at the history. Police didn't come, shout out to KRS-One, but it didn't come from officer, overseer. No, the police comes from policy, right? And it's enforcing. That's why it's called a police force. They're enforcing the policy or the will of the state, right? And again, what's the will of the state in the United States? Tawny, Dred Scott, So hopefully, maybe if we have more black officers who are trained a certain way, and their orientation and their training is different, to really truly be an asset and service to the community, yeah, then it might look like this. But for now, no, I don't think so.
What about the rest of you guys? If you were in a African state or African nation state, would this be how you want your police to be? And if you are from a predominantly black community, be it an islander or whatever, is this how you expect your police to be? Let's go to Marcus Garvey's the way.
Our police, I think, are more braggadocious. I don't think they're normally that cool with you. At least in Barbados, a lot of them are more braggadocious. At least a few I've seen.
Yeah,
But
we call it biggity.
yeah, because they know they got a little power, so they try to,
Mhm.
But I normally tell my kids that I think the difference with police here and the police there is that we are on the island, and most police somebody knows where they live, so the crimes they commit can is only so limited because the island is small, and people know people, so you can only commit so many crimes against the people before you as a police may go missing. So I don't think they can push the kind of things that they do here as they do there. But yeah, you're gonna get the biggity ones, but I've never seen them as cool as this, like, and I mean cool as in, like joking with people.
Right.
Yeah.
D Web, you must wish that in Chicago you had these kind of cops, right?
I mean, they all a mixed bag, man. I've seen situations where it's crazy. What this prior to prior to everybody having these new HD smartphones or whatever. It's been times where we actually had a rapper dude that used to live on our block, and he was kind of local, well-known rapper dude, and we had to actually the police pull over. I guess they had this white dude who could rap. Like the Eminem beginning times, right?
Right.
And they came in and actually had a fucking rap battle. You see all these cars pull up, and we like, what the hell's going on? They actually, and it's grainy cell phone footage of that existing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, you have mixed bags of cops. Some of them, whatever, and then others, it's weird, crazy stories I probably could tell. But I will say that, I think the police should reflect the population to at least a certain extent. It's funny to me how you can have, all these active recruitments for all these other type of industries or whatever, but they don't have active recruitment for police force, because that's an important thing in the neighborhood, right? People typically want these people to come from that area so that they know people, they know the area, they know what gangs is in the area, they know these people, they know the majority of these people are hardworking people, and you have a few people that act up, you know what I'm saying? So they don't treat it like it's Fallujah, you know what I'm saying? Because they have a tie to this neighborhood. So I think, and then a lot of times like people coming out of high school and shit, they don't know what they want to do, so if people have the temperament, if you can run all these tests and find out who has the temperament maybe to be doctors and lawyers and have active recruiting and businesses come out for that, I don't understand why you can't do the same thing to the local police force, invest some money in them so that you can have people from the neighborhood who have the temperament, have the attitude, and who've been trained from an earlier age to interact with people, have some training. But I'm living in a utopian mindset right now, but that's all I got on that, man.
Real Black Gentleman, are you in St. Louis, or is that Lero I'm thinking about?
It's Lero around that area.
Oh, Lero.
I thought Lero was in Detroit.
No, the matron is in Detroit. Lero is in St. Louis. Real Black Gentleman, what say you? Where are you at?
Where am I at? Where my location? Where am I from?
Yeah, from.
Oberlin, Ohio. You know where that is?
Oberlin, yeah. So, would you have liked to in Oberlin? Would you like to see your police like this?
Of course. I mean, it's like like I said, it's just the idea that, you know, the police is your people that, you know what I'm saying, like naturally, if you know what I'm saying, like they checking up on you, like, yo, I saw something going on, like I just want to set you straight. You good? Oh, okay, yeah, yes, well, yeah, I'll be doing the same thing. Just that the casual nature of policing is where, you know, obviously you can imagine, you can put yourself in this police officer's like shoes. You can relate to that kind of person, which like, look, I'm out here too. I just got out here to do the watch. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go out here and do the watch. Just making sure everyone's on the up and up. That's all. Right. Look, he looks in the car, ask him if he you know what I'm saying? Just the, I mean, I know that this is just you know, it's the characterization, you know what I'm saying? It's just a skit, you know what I'm saying? But yes, the whole point that you need policing that is of the people, is not, you know, the whole idea of like even uniforms and like being of that role. You know, I think a lot of times Black people, I've said it before, you know, we don't want to be reactionary. We don't want to find ourselves imitating and kind of, you know, we'll find ourselves kind of wanting the same things we'll try to find the equivalency to the greater culture. And you know what I'm saying? We want policing. Do we really want police? You know what I'm saying? We aren't making policies. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like that goes back to the whole idea of even like, you know, even trying to nullify, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that we don't even have the ability to neutralize, let alone like prefer. It's nice, and I think that you can kind of like cheat your way through it in a way. Like you can kind of like synthesize a solution where, like, again, Black people are on the streets protecting Black people in the greater community at large, and just kind of getting into more of a commanding position about it instead of being at the mercy of the same apparatus. I mean, I don't want to get into the system to become it. I need the system to change. And sometimes that means you know what I'm saying, kind of like dabbling around and kind of just like, and you know what I'm saying, I don't want to be a police officer until like I know that conditions would be even more so less than, you know what I'm saying. I'm not trying to like sit up here and like make sure I lock up, you know, have so many tickets and do all that. I'm not trying to, I don't want to be no cop. But I mean, I can understand how it's necessary. Someone's going to have to go out there and, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's difficult because it's like, when I say someone has to go out there, it's like, I can have the attitude of like, if it don't matter to me, if it's not affecting me, it's not affecting me, it's not affecting me, it's just affecting these other people. It's not, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, someone's got to make these roles. Someone's got to, you know what I'm saying? It's easy until you leave the house and you start to realize how many things are interconnected with every person in the society, white, Black, you know what I'm saying, aquamarine, you know what I'm saying? I hate to say that, but it's true. But like, so yeah, I do wish policing, you know what I'm saying, I would like a policing that was more casual, not confrontational, not this belligerent paramilitary force that is in a lot of our Black communities. I'm a pass.
All right. I only asked where my mind Buana though. Buana hit me up earlier, so he had something come up. He might have hopped on if he had a chance. My guess is that he had some folks from out of town come in.
I'm looking for Azuli, Koku, because Azuli, yes, last week I fell asleep. That prompt was for me about the Cosby, and I don't know. I don't think we'll have the time, but I'm hoping we might be able to throw that prompt again because it was a bonus, and I really want to hear Azuli say what he was saying about that guy, where he can have someone respond back. But I fell asleep, that's why. So I'm waiting. Azuli, call in.
Yeah, that was a prompt full of laughter at the end there, man. That bonus prompt was good. We actually had Buana showing his face. I don't know if I showed it to YouTube, but he was showing us his face and stuff. It was a very interesting end last week. We meant to go a few more minutes, but time changed on us, and we ended up going even longer. Like, it ended up being like an 8-hour episode or something. It was very, very interesting, very funny at the end. Good times. Azuli, if you're out there, hop back on. I'll try to get to that quickly so Gas could comment to it. Buana, when you listen to this in the playback, make sure to drop your comments so that we can have a dialogue in the comment section about the show. In the meantime, let me go to the last prompt tonight. This has been a great show.
I just want to say something quick.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we were looking at it as black cops being like this, like, you know, if we want the police to treat us like this. But I realized that if you check the Dahmer story, for example, the white cops were treating him in that casual way, and we were only thinking of you know, innocent people, but he was a guilty person being treated real casually and getting away with crimes more than once in guilty situations because the police was too casual with him. So, you know, we got to look at the same situation on the flip side.
Yes, that's true too. That's true too. Thank you for that, Marcus Garvey is the way. Let's go to the last prompt tonight. Make sure you guys subscribe